Zach, it's an honor to be on here with you and your growing team. I remember when we started together, the first time I met you was in Denver. We went to your hotel room and you changed, and I told you that I didn't like you because Andrew had given you a lot of favoritism, and I felt envy and jealous as a brother with dad giving you more love than me. And you were like, "You don't like me?" And I was like, "Well, now that I know you, I guess I like you a lot." And since then, I think we've had a very respectful but growing, focused business relationship. And to see where we've both come now in a year, and the teams we've been able to been blessed to coach and spend time with and be where we are now, and to have so many people seeing FFL as what we saw so long ago. It's exciting every day, and I'm humbled and honored to get to share a lot of this growth with you, my man. So, but in regards to my finger, I would be remiss if not giving an overwhelming amount of love to Steven Rosario. Is he on here by chance? If even in spirit, or people know who he is because he's so amazing. Just a fluke accident, getting out of the car, a rental car that you don't really know how the doors close precisely. Maybe you're more used to different size doors or colored doors, and somehow I'm closing the door, and as I go to close it, my finger stays in the door, and it literally exploded my finger and popped the fingernail off, and it was bleeding and disgusting. And Steven Rosario selflessly took his shirt off, wrapped it around my hand, and then proceeded to drive me to 5 different medical facilities to where we finally settled on the last one that didn't look like it looked like an insane asylum. We were in the wrong part of LA, I think. So we went to a bunch of different places, and he's an amazing guy. So if you know Steven, or you work with Steven, you have a tremendously loving and caring man within your organization, and my heart is full with appreciation for him. But yeah, it was a good time. LA was wonderful, and for those that came out, I'm sure you saw the children whom we got to bless with shoes and the charity we participated in. It really gives a lot of perspective when we come out here and talk about making $20,000-$30,000 in a month and having to spend a couple grand on leads, to looking at people that are standing in line in the sun just to get their kids a free pair of shoes. And as this thing progresses, it gives me a lot of insight to set my own sights on how I can donate and give more, and get my own family around situations like this where we can have perspective and appreciation for what we do all have and have created, and how we can give back to others. So it's wonderful spending that time with you, Zach, and so many of your team out there. So, but let's jump in, man. You guys had it looked like a record month for you. Lots of growth, lots of new agents. Great job, Monique. And we'll keep rolling from there. But what's the latest in your world, man?
So, dude, I was going to tell you this because you missed Sunday. It was my favorite thing that Pastor Matthew said. So you were out of commission. But one of the things he said, and this is going to help me moving forward. He said, and dude, I just need to paint the picture of the scenario, right? So we're around a bunch of people that, like you said, are far less fortunate, right? And all kinds of things. I heard all kinds of stories about how people got in those positions and things like that. And he said, hey, so I want you guys to remember this when you're complaining about the things that are going on in your life. What if we just took everybody's problems and we came and just tossed them onto the stage? He said, how fast would you guys, or who up here would dive on the stage to get their problem back if we were dividing them out amongst each other? You know what I mean? And to me, that was, after seeing like some of the positions some people were in and things like that, it really opened my eyes to, like, I have nothing to complain about. And many of us literally have nothing to complain about compared to some of these people out here. But Grady, maybe an introduction, because there are a lot of people on here. As I'm scrolling through the participants, there's a lot of people on here who I wouldn't think would know your story or be familiar with you. So maybe what you were doing before Family First Life.
Sure.
How you came to Family First Life would be, I think, a good start.
For sure, man. I'd love to. I'll run through real quick and just kind of set the table for you guys, and being in a very comparable situation than I was when I found this. I found Family First Life by way of Facebook, and Andrew Taylor, just knowing him as a young, successful man who was in the insurance industry. Before I came here, I was actually, and I did some network marketing. not successfully, but I learned a lot of skills on how to communicate, which they give you. They'll give you plenty of skills. They'll give you no money in that industry. So I grew some skills. But then from there, I started a software company with a couple partners and built that thing up to all of $4,000 a month in income. And I'm having my third child. I'm married, and I'm sitting there at Christmas 2017 with no money and needing to borrow money from my parents to buy Christmas presents. And you're holding your third kid who's just born in early December. You got no money. You got a software company that makes you kind of feel cool. You got this cool title. But the reality was I had no money to kind of really take care of my family the way I believed that I could, or they deserved to be taken care of. And, who you pray to or what you believe in, but the big dude put FFL in front of me. And I made the leap of faith in early January 2018 to go all in with FFL. I had everything to gain and nothing to lose, because what was I to go back to? And, I could get a job serving tables making $4,000 a month. And so I saw FFL, went, asked Andrew, how does this work? He says, you buy leads and you go take care of the families that requested coverage. I'm like, I'm familiar with like business and sales and stuff, but you're telling me these leads want to buy what I have to sell? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, how's that work? Well, they fill out requests online. They want to get insurance and we go protect them with the insurance products we have. I'm like, doesn't make any sense. It still doesn't make any sense to me at this day and age, how great we have it here. My first month, my first 10 appointments, I sold the last one. So I didn't sell my first 9. Sold the last one, Patricia P, for $43 a month, Americo Eagle. And when that, couple $100 deposit hit my bank account 2 days later, I was like, okay, this is really cool. And decided just to go all in, and ended the first month at 14,000, which was at those times was decent. But month 2, right? But in my mind, 14,000, when the previous, my months before starting at FFL was making $4,000 a month. 14,000, I was rich. We went on vacation, went and visited my wife's mom. We went and filled up her fridge. I bought her a new TV, took her out to dinner every single night. Like, I had $14,000, Zach. Like, this is more money than I made in 3 months. And I did this in 30 days with a new business. Like, we're gonna be billionaires, honey. So after the second month, I issue paid 8,000 because I went on vacation and spent a lot of time out of the field, got a couple of chargebacks, and had to figure out how to actually be disciplined in this business. And Chantel basically chewed my butt and was like, we can't go backwards. And I was like, well, you're the one that want to go to your mom's and buy her a bunch of presents in California. We live in Arizona. And so, long story short, month 3, everything changed for me. I listened to the right people, got around the right people, had enough experience. And month 3, I ended up writing 31,000, and everything changed. From then on, I saw what the life was like when you write more money. I felt like what it was like to have money coming in your bank account every single day of the week, and never looked back. Ended the first year at 256,000 on my own pen. Started building a team, just barely started building a team first year, issue paying right around 150,000. We hit VP year 1. Year 2 issued 310 on my own pen, because I always believed that if you're going to lead a team, you should know what you're leading and lead from the front. And sold a ton, sold 310. I was number 26 in the company. And, now 300, I don't think you're in the top 500 in the company now, which is crazy, the standards at which we've raised. And 310 my second year, grew the team to right around 700,000 issue paid as a team. And then flip around the corner, and the team was doing about 5 months later, about 1.2 million a month, right where you guys are at right now. And I had to come out of the field to focus on just the growth of the agency. And then fast forward, that was 2020, now 2021. This past month, we did 4.7 million as an agency. So guys, you go back 3 years, and 3 years and 900 plus days of just daily focus, waking up at 5 in the morning, checking my phone, responding to texts, calling agents, calling people. If I'm not on the phone, I'm calling a prospect, trying to find out if I can grow the business. I'm reaching out to people. Have anybody I can talk to with you? Is there anything that you're struggling with? Anything I can help you overcome? And it's a constant daily focus on the business and what the progressive actions are, which is option 1 is either if I'm in the field, I'm selling insurance, protecting a family. Option 2 is I'm talking to someone about family first life. Because I believe we have pocket aces here, and that everyone who has an entrepreneurial spirit or a focus to create a better life for themselves and has ambition could do extremely well here. And that mentality I try to infiltrate onto my team every single day, which is the constant thought process of canine. CANEI, constant and never ending improvement. And that's either improving yourself personally or improving yourself in your business to go forward. So Zach, to introduce myself, if you will, is to come all the way back around and say, I am you if you are new. I am you if you are struggling. I am you if you have ambition and heart and desire for change and a love for your family that you want to give them everything in the world. And I'm you who is someone just a couple years down the road who just gave up all the bullshit and stopped talking to losers and got away from my friends who weren't serving me and stopped listening to family who was doubting me and got away from anybody who had a negative bone in their body and made every decision I could to get around the people who were winning here. And it served me better than I could ever possibly imagine.
Damn, talk about an introduction, bro. And I think that's what makes you you, Grady, is I think you you kind of like overdo everything, you know? But that's what makes you awesome, bro, is if you're going to do it, you do it really well. I appreciate you coming on. I wanted to go over, and I think that people forget because they haven't seen you in the field for so long, right? But some of the things that you have taught me via in person or some of your YouTube videos, I think is totally awesome. The first one being like setting the table, and the other one teaching these people or teaching people about the concept of I don't know the exact wording, so I do not want to butcher it, but the whole purpose of our meeting and everything we say is basically to minimize sales pressure and increase credibility. So could you talk about those 2 points and how you incorporate them into your in-home presentation?
I'll do my best. It's been a minute since I've done in-home, but I'll give you the concepts around it. I probably can't do service on the best words. But I think the most important thing is to understand from a sales standpoint that they requested coverage and they're home, right? If they're home, right? So you call the lead, they answer, whether it's the third dial or the ninth dial or the first dial, they answer. You book the appointment, you get in the home, and you get yourself to, or you drive over there, they're home, they answered, let you in, you're sitting down. I mean, in sales, it's 7 yeses to get a sale, right? That's what they say, 7 yeses to convert a client, right? So whether that's in your sales process or whether that's just actions forward, yes, in my mind is yes, they answer the phone. Yes, they agree to the appointment. Yes, they let you in. They were home. Yes, they let you in. Yes, they let you get through a presentation. You just need 2 more yeses and you're going to get a close. So the understanding that if we put ourselves in a position where we just assume the understanding that they want this, then we're going to be far less salesy in the sense that we need to be creative. And, yes, that I use brochures. Yes, that I use credibility sheets. All this stuff are necessary. But the reality is it's almost more of an assumption. I'm here now to put you in a better situation because I understand that you make $3,200 working at the state and she makes $1,200 working for daycare. And if you die, Jim, Mary's going to lose the house. That's what I understand. Does that make sense to you? And so it's being very assumptive in the fact that I'm here for a specific reason, which is to solve the problem, right? What I talk to agents about, or my team about, we're problem solvers. We solve problems, one for for families, that if God forbid something happens and the breadwinner or someone in this household passes away, this death benefit is going to relieve a lot of stress and pain. We're also problem solvers for agents and putting them in a position where they can make more money. So I would say that that's an initial thing for setting the table, is to assume or understand you're there. You only need a few more yeses for them to be comfortable with you moving forward and putting a product in place. But from setting the table also is setting a proper open where you're talking about the reason we're here. I'm not a captive agent. I'm an independent agent. You understand what that means? It means I'm a broker. It means I've got almost 20 different products that I can run through, 10 different carriers. I can put you in a position where no matter whatever you've got going on that we're going to find out here in a minute, I'm able to put some product or protection in place to put you guys in a better position. And better thing yet is we can't decide. I don't get to approve you. I just approve everybody's act, but it's not up to me. It's up to the insurance company. We've got to submit a request for coverage to find out if they're going to preview. We're not going to do that yet. We got to see where you're at first. And so it's really just setting the assumptive notion that we're going to move forward with something. I don't get to decide, neither do you, but we're submitting a request to coverage. And if there's any issues with, does that sound good? Sounds good, right? When you get these little mental agreements, they're agreeing to the submitting of coverage. They're agreeing to giving you information. And that puts you in a really more powerful position. Is that if you listen to any great in-home opens, they have a lot of these elements of explaining who you are, knocking out the competition, talking about what we're going to do, and then getting you to agree that we're going to do it all. So that's what I would say from setting the table, but increasing credibility and reducing sales pressure is a lot of those elements, but it's also putting yourself in a position where you come across mildly professional. Now, Trevor Dunbar writes 50,000 a month in a V-neck and jeans. I never had the confidence to roll in a V-neck and jeans. I wore slacks, a lanyard, a polo from Ross, and some dress shoes from, some Nunn Bush dress shoes from TJ Maxx. Like, I didn't have the confidence to roll in jeans and a Lululemon V-neck, but Trevor does, and that's what's cool about the evolution of this business. But I think things that increase credibility are, one, having your license printed out. I also have my E&O printed out, having the credibility sheet. You don't need a lanyard or business cards day one. Those are not necessary. But things that allow the client to, because they're judging you. That's a big thing to understand from a sales process. Your clients are 100% judging you. Do I want to let you in my door? I'm going to probably let you in the door, I'm going to let you sit down. But do I want to continue this process? Do I trust you to give you information? Are you coming across knowledgeable? Are you saying words like suitability? Are you saying words like, find out if we submit a request for coverage? Are you using carrier names and product names that make you sound educated? And that just comes through time and experience and the training, but it's the silly line we used to say all the time is, if you say smart things, people think you're smart. But I mean, you are smart. You're smarter than them. You're the one person that has a license. I got all that. But like, it's coming across with confidence that you're here to guide and help. And then so the reduce of sales pressure is words like, we don't get to decide today. I don't get to approve you. There's nothing to decide right now. We'll submit a request for coverage. I never said we're going to go submit an application. I mean, there's a lot of people that are far more direct now than I was. But I was the guy who's happy-go-lucky, wanted to not put people in a position where they felt awkward or uncomfortable. So I created all these things like, go ahead and, Zach, go ahead and grab me a bottle of water. I'm getting kind of, I would say I need your driver's license and a voided check. And if you can give me a bottle of water, I don't want that white stuff to start forming out of the corner of my mouth like my grandpa. And I would take the awkwardness, which early on as a new agent, I'm asking them for their driver's license and a voided check. Right, because early on in your first couple sales, you're going to get pushback there because you're going to come across awkward because you don't know what to do. But if you sandwich it in, the driver's license and the water bottle with the voided check in the middle, it seems like these are things that people need to go get. So when I'm sitting in your home and it's been 15 minutes and I've just talked about your family and what happens if you die and you haven't offered me water yet, all of a sudden it's like, oh shoot, I didn't get you any water. It was almost like a feeling of regret or apology. An apologetic tone hits the table. And it's like, oh, what all do you need? The driver's license, the voided check, and the water. I'm so sorry. I should have got you that already. Like it's 9 out of 10 times clients go, I should have got you that already while they're getting their things. And so do we have to develop the business to a point where we have to use, I don't want to say trickery and it's not manipulation. It's just massaging the elements. I don't think so. But early on, I did everything I could to get a sale. You know what I mean? I'm trying to do anything I could to make myself more comfortable. And that's the thing I want to offer to you guys. As long as the job's getting done, whatever you need to create to make it more comfortable, do it. Like, your job's to go in there, serve the family, and protect them. So increase credibility, reduce sales pressure is just saying things like, we don't get to decide right now. I don't get to approve you. You don't get to pick. Just what most people do, and they. If you use those two lines throughout your presentation, your sales will skyrocket. Now, Zach, so we've got $15,000, $20,000, and $25,000 of whole life coverage. What most people do is they pick one of these options to make sure their family has some coverage. What most people do, Zach, because I know you have some coverage at home, but they get additional, actually permanent policy that they own. I know you've got coverage from work. What most people do is they want to ensure that they actually have coverage they own, because most people change jobs. Do you know most people, Zach, will have 9 jobs by the time they're age of 30? So it's great you've got some work benefits right now, but what most people do is they get a permanent policy, all right? They've got me out here right now. They've got me across town. Oh, you're here late. They got me running all over the place. They need me to submit this application. They need me, right? Why are you calling me so late? They've got me in the office till 9:30 at night. I'm sorry, but you're gonna be home tomorrow at 6:15 or 6:45. Which works better for you, Zach? They, the pressure off you. When we can create more relatability with our clients, that does reduce sales pressure, increase credibility, because although many of you are gonna go out there and make 20, 30, 40, 50,000, Gaston making $57,000 in a month, cannot relate to his client that makes $5,000 in a month. Or he can relate to him because he's a good producer and can help people feel comfortable. The client cannot relate to him. because he makes in a month what they make in a year. So how do we do it? We talk in words and terms like the clients have, and all of our clients have a boss, and their boss they refer to as a they. They got me here late, honey. They got me going in early tomorrow, babe. Right? So when you talk like that same way, like they communicate with their social network and their colleagues, they can relate to you, reduces sales pressure.
Boom, dude. I don't want to say the question wasn't underhander, but yeah, dude, that's one of your expertises. I love that you shared that with us. Next, dude, so you were selling well. When did you start building a team, and why did you think that was a necessity?
Great question. So when I came here, I never thought about building a team. It wasn't even actually talked about that much. It was never something that, like, some people had built teams, but in my mind, I was like, they all came from previous companies where they had to build teams. So I thought they just brought their teams here and everyone's just chilling together with their teams while they are selling insurance. And for me, it was probably my, and to be honest, I should have started soon. It's always the correct answer, but probably my third month when I wrote 31 grand, and I was like, oh my God, this is unreal. How many other ambitious people do I know or could I find that would also want to make money like this? Because there's not a lot of people making money like we make money. There isn't. Like our world, we're like, all we know is people that sell life insurance and make a lot of money. And the world outside of our world, the office next door that is a veterinary office, the doctor doesn't make the money that we make, right? The office across the street, the state farm agent who has a lease over there probably makes 110 grand. And everyone in his office makes like $28,000 plus 25% commissions. So our world, people make a lot of money. Everyone outside of our offices don't. And for me, when that happened and I had a big month, I go, light bulb. I could introduce this to people and put other people in a good position. And if I help them and be a good steward and go sell from the front and teach them what I know and help them overcome objections and put themselves in a better position like my family is now, I could potentially make 5% of what they sell. And that could turn into a lot of money. And that's what kind of a light bulb moment for me was. And, early on, I hired everybody, could fog a mirror, that it would talk to me, and I'd talk all day long to people, and I'd spend way too much time talking to people. And that was a big learning lesson for me early on, is I'd spend 30, 45 minutes talking to a prospect, wanting to get to know them. I'd want to know about their family. I'd learn about what their kids did and their wives' hobbies. And just because I'm trying to build rapport, I think that that's important. I need to build a great relationship with these people. And then you know what happens, Zach? When they don't go register for the class, or they don't do Insurance Bay, and I can't get a hold of them anymore. I spent so much time with them. I felt like I got broken up with. And I've got all this heartache from recruiting, of people leaving me and not texting me back and getting ghosted by, like, my new brother, John, who served tables in West Phoenix, and I was going to help him change his life. And now John won't text me back. And I'm like, what the heck, John? Like, I thought we had something going, buddy. And now I'm by myself again. So I remember I had an important conversation with Sean, and this was in May of 2018. And so I'm going 2 months talking to people every single day, because I see it now. I already made the money, and all of a sudden I'm like, I can turn people, I could do this. And I'm like, Sean, I've talked to hundreds of people. And he's like, well, how's it going? I'm like, well, I'm spending 30, 45 minutes talking to people about this business. He goes, you're doing what? And I'm like, he's like, dude, it's 5-7 minutes. You're not going to make someone do it or not do it. Tell them your quick story, be a good example, challenge them to get started in class, because all you're doing by spending that much time explaining to someone FFL is telling someone that if they ever want to do what you're doing, they need to learn a 30 to 45-minute explanation on how to explain FFL. And that was a light bulb moment for me. I was like, that makes so much sense. And so he gets Andrew on the phone, and he's like, Andrew, how many people have you recruited in the history of your business? And Andrew's like, thousands. And for me, I was like, oh, so it's a volume game. It's not about, you find 10 people, have a great conversation with 10 people, and all 10 people are going to become Hall of Fame producers. Not going to happen. It's talk to 100 people, 60 people say they're going to get started, 30 actually do, 15 turn into writers, and 7 banger producers you create out of talking to 100 people. So if you can extrapolate those numbers from a bigger scale, understand it's just talking to more people and having a realization that in the greatest country in the world, 97% of the country makes under $100,000 a year. Why is that? Most people maybe lack ambition. They don't have maybe the opportunity that FFL is, or that they could go out and create the income, and having an understanding that if that's the averages, then you should have a same assumption within the averages of your recruiting. Just because we've got the greatest opportunity does not mean everybody's going to jump on it. So for me, that was what really changed for me early on, Zach, is that I just started talking to more people faster. I started talking to less people longer in the beginning, and that screwed me all up because I got so frustrated. I was like, Sean, I'm making $30,000 a month, more money I've ever made in my life. This is absolutely incredible. Why should I even build a team? Like, I could just not deal with any of that crap. I could just make my money, go spend time with my wife and kids. And he's like, dude, the long-term upside of you building a team and getting a VP bonus, this is way before integrity, and creating an agency where you can earn that 5% off of because you were a good steward for them, will pay your family income for years, far, far longer than you just being a producer. Now, can we make tons of money as just a single producer? Heck yeah, we can. Unreal money. But the beauty of building something that's long-term stable residual income really was enticing to me. And that's for me what kind of changed a lot, Zach, and this is some perspective and clarity, how I was just hiring everybody. I hit VP with 40 writers, 150,000. And I was writing 30. So no one's making any money. Alexander Strait, one of my guys, hit VP with 13, which means he had a lot of people making more money. And that's a better perspective to have longer term. As I've grown in this business, is I don't hire everybody who can fog a mirror. Although there's still 5-7 minute conversations, I'm throwing them in and getting them contracted because heck, it's writers. Well, it's quality of writers too, right? Do you have desire to buy leads? Do you understand that this is a leads based business? Do you understand there's going to be expenses to this? What is how much are you ready to invest? Right? That's the proper word, not spend. How much are you ready to invest in leads on your first lead order? I don't have any money. Okay, well, could you get some money? No, I can't get no money. All right, why can't you get no money? Well, I don't have no money. Okay, well, if you didn't know how to this is a great line, okay? It's a great line. If you didn't know how to come up with the money, how would you come up with the money? Well, ask my dad, ask my brother, ask my sister. It's a great line in closing for any sort of business. If you didn't know how to come up with the money, how would you come up with the money? If you did know how, right? Just hypothetically, we're playing in a fantasy land right now. Well, if I did know, I would ask so-and-so, borrow it. Okay, would they loan you money to get started in your new business? They probably would. Okay. Well, does that seem like something you can do? Can you ask your brother to borrow $1,000, start your new business, tell him you'll pay him back in a week or two? Yeah, he'll probably loan. Okay, cool. Right. And then that's a rarity in that situation, but it's a great line to use with people to challenge them. Your job as a hiring manager, someone who's going to earn money off them, but then be a good steward and coach them, is to challenge them early on. And if you don't challenge them early on, then it's going to put you in a position where you got a bunch of dead weight, a bunch of people that don't know what to do, and a bunch of people spending, I got a girl who bought 24 leads at $2.50, and she's like, I can only get a hold of 3 of them. I want a refund for the other 21. And I deleted the email. So I said, let someone else go ahead. You can deal with this person who just the broken mindset, right? It's people who don't understand the cost of business and how incredible it is that we actually even have leads, Zach. How incredible is it that we actually even have leads? Because if I spent $500,000 to open a hamburger shop, when I was growing up, there's this cool building on the corner of this side road in my old town. And I always said, it's over a creek and everything. And I always said to myself, one day I should open a restaurant there. And I know nothing about restaurants or burgers or running or any of that, nor should I, nor ever will I. But the mental thought of a young man was like, I'm gonna open Grady's Burgers or something, or I'll call it Mom's Burgers because I play on the heartstrings. And I thought to myself, if I ever open a burger shop there, that'd be incredible. We're in a big, small town. It's a busy town. I'm from Northern Arizona. And I thought to myself, if I could open a restaurant there, how wonderful it would be, and the excitement and the business and the pomegranate chutney burgers with an egg and mayonnaise and, brioche buns or pretzel buns, or some wrapped in lettuce, protein style. But how would I grow that business, right? Through ads, sign spinners, I'd do it all. I'd put a freaking balloon up on top of the roof. But the reality of starting a business like that parallels that of me having to ask my sister Paris for people that she knows also to send to my business. And if the extent of my business customers relied on who she knew and who I knew, the hamburger shop would surely fail. That's what leads are. Leads are your advertising budget. Leads are the understanding that we can spend money and receive customers. If I had a $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 a month advertising budget, I'd litter the town with flyers. I'd have door hangers and door knockers. I'd have Parmesan fries and we'd be banging. It'd be a poppin' restaurant because I'd have an advertising budget. But too many people run their business on who their sister knows and hoping that that's going to be the thing that's going to catapult you to financial freedom. And you've got to understand that you have to have some money to invest into your business. And leads are simple investment. We're buying buyers. That's pretty crazy, dude. So
How much do you recommend new people start off buying leads, and which type of leads do you recommend?
I would say the fastest leads they can get would be the best answer. I would say newest leads would be the best answer. And I would say if you can come up with $700 to $1,000, it's going to put you in the best position. I hate even saying 700 because I almost give someone a cop out to go, he said 700, which sounds like 500. I've got 300. I'm in, right? Versus if I just say 1,000, then you go, well, I got 800, right? And so I'll just say 1,000. And why I say 1,000, because it stretches you. You wrote one of the greatest quotes in the history of this business. Is it more risky to buy 20 leads or 60 leads? Is that how you wrote it?
That's how I wrote it, bro.
That's how you wrote it. Dude, one of the most epic quotes that just blessed Facebook group in the history of this company. And that's the reality. It's not risky at all. It's more risky to buy 20 than it is 60. And putting yourself and giving yourself in a position to have more at bats is always going to set you up for success. And you've got to be here in a position, all 98 of you, even the ones with your cameras off because you're scared to be on camera for some odd reason. I'm on camera, but yeah, you, Krista and David and Ken and Kelvin, for some reason, oh, there's Rosario, for some reason don't have your cameras on while you sit here oddly in the dark while we talk to each other, but it's all good. You know, people that have their cameras on definitely make more money. Me and my boy Anthony over here are going to crush it. Yeah, you bro. Yeah. Is putting yourself in a position where you have more at bats, and with less at bats, you're setting yourself up for stress. And if you bet on yourself, if you believe in yourself, you went this far and went and studied all that damn information from ExamFX to get your license. You drove across town and went and sat in that weird little room that a bunch of weird people are in. And you put the headphones on and took the test to get your life insurance license, and then drove to some mailboxes, et cetera, to get your fingerprint, and then went down to the state and submitted it. If you go through all that, you got to believe in yourself enough to be able to go spend $1,000 on leads and understand that you're buying buyers, you're buying customers. And if you think that after all that effort, that $300 is all you can muster, then expect $300 results. But you're setting yourself up for stress, because 300 leads, you're probably going to book maybe 9 appointments. You'll sit 5 and sell 1 or 2, and you'll go, this doesn't work. But you spend $1,000, get 80 leads, book yourself guaranteed 30 plus appointments. You're going to sit 15 to 20 and close 7 to 9. And you're going to make $7,000 to $9,000 in your first week. And then all of a sudden you're going to go from a non-believer to a believer. And we're going to have you on conference calls talking about how did it work out. And you're like, I just followed the system. And now that's it. You've got a bunch of new people on here that make a bunch of money their first week. I just followed the system, Zach, right? We've got a bunch of system followers. And then we've got more people that spend $300 and go, this doesn't work. But the reality is you're not believing in yourself. You're not challenging yourself enough. You're listening to your loser friends. You're listening to your loser family. You love your family. I love my family. You should love your family, but they can be losers, and that's okay. And what's defining a loser? Someone that doesn't do the things that they could do to change their life and put their life for the better and put their own family in a better situation. And if you're going to be the catalyst for change in your social sphere, that's okay. A big thing I told my team today was it is okay to be the most ambitious person you know. It's okay. Because the people you talk to, if the majority of our country is under 97% of them makes under 100 grand a year, and money's not the barometer for value in life. I understand that, but money gives you options. Money gives you freedom. Money gives you security. Money pays for hospital bills on a random fluke night in Los Angeles. Puts you in a position where you can change everything. And so to be the most ambitious person you know and influence, like I can't tell you, and I say this with humble pride, how my small social network of dad bods that I know around my neighborhood have found ambition from what my wife and I have been able to create in a short period of time. Because we were just normal average dudes, normal average people who found the right opportunity and went all in on it and gave no craps what anybody thought. And so the thought process that you think that $300 limp in first lead investment is going to get you the success and create the empire in life that you really desire and deserve is a foolish thought. It's fool's gold you're chasing. So the answer to the question, I would say new leads, $1,000, great investment. Instant, new internet are both fantastic. If you can get a lead order put in for Facebook leads from one of the top Facebook lead vendors while you submit your stuff into Assurance Bay is a great solution. You should have all your writing numbers in less than 14 days. You can have prosperity in 48 hours. and you're off to the races, and put yourself in a position to win. But have faith and belief in yourself. That's the hardest thing, dude. Like we talk about phones being 80%, in-home 15, and product knowledge 5%. Well, before that 100%, the 100% you got to conquer is your mental decision that you're going to go all in and do whatever it takes and fight through the BS that will come at you. And it's not like odd BS or unique. It's BS of you. It's you going, okay, I just dialed 7 leads, Zach, and the first 3 didn't answer. The next 2 told me they didn't fill it out, and the last 2 hung up on me. To dial that 8th lead, who's been waiting for you all day and says, what took you so long? I filled that out last night. Can you come over this afternoon? And understanding that those people are out there waiting in your leads, and you go over there and sell her and make $1,000 or $2,000, protect her. She's better off. Someone died in her neighborhood and she's been thinking about life insurance, and you're the solution. You're the problem solver for her life. And that's a very humbling and responsible place to be, but it's the mental discipline that you need to find within yourself to keep dialing when it gets hard. So that's what I'd answer.
Okay, Grady. I almost don't want to ask another question because that was so good, but I feel like I got to. So, how has FFL changed your life? Or hold on. Actually, this would be better. How has FFL changed those that you've been close to? Because I think this is probably more important of a question. Like Gage Pert is one of my favorite, or Peart, sorry, is one of my favorite success stories at FFL. But how has FFL changed some of those lives of people you've worked with, and where do you see FFL going to close?
You got it, man. Dude, I mean, I think when Gage started, he was like a busser at a restaurant that Jordan went to, like in Texas or something. And somehow they knew each other through it was something like I think Jordan paid him a salary for the first 3 months to help him get going. And now the guy's doing almost $500,000 a month. The lives it's changed within my agents, within FFL in total, I mean, they're tremendous. But we can talk about that, but what I think is more so important is people understanding that their own lives can change. Like everything can change for you in 60 days. Like they can change in 30 and you can solidify them in 60. And so to see many of the agents on my own, dude, I can't tell you their names. I talked to a couple on my team, you can read between the lines, who have $700,000 in the bank, and they work 18 hours a day. There's another guy on my team who's got $300,000 in his bank account, and he's never had more than $7,000 in savings ever. Another guy I know on my team who made $60,000 last month, and 12 months ago when he started with us, he was a bartender. Another guy on my team made over $100,000 last month, and he drove Uber before he started here. There's some stories, but it's all them going all the way back to where many of you are right now with that uncertain faith of, should I stay where I'm at because it's comfortable, or should I trust these dudes even though I don't believe them? And that's fine too. You cannot believe us. And but I would say, and as Andrew would always say to me, Zach, he'd go, until I give you a reason not to trust me, trust me. And I said, okay. He's probably said that to me a couple times early in our relationship. And now here we are 3 years down the road. And dude, that dude tells me to jump into the Mississippi, I'll do it, because it'll probably be a raft waiting down the way that he set up to catch me. I don't know if that's even a real thing, but I would say, Zach, lives can change here. But as I say to all of you guys who are on here and driving around and in between appointments and in between dial day, that it is the system we have set up, the lead sources we have set up, the carriers we have set up, is something that's unprecedented in an entrepreneurial space. Because my 10 years before I came here, I was an entrepreneur in a bunch of different vehicles that I thought I was working hard, and I really wasn't, because the challenge in these other vehicles, you can work hard, but there's no immediate gratification. And the immediate gratification, the big commission validation and gratification that we can have at FFL by going out and meeting with a family, and if we're putting $83 Eagle in place, and then in 2 days you're getting a $750 deposit in your bank account because of the 9-month advance. Big commissions can change your life in a second. People need to make now money. People have now bills. They've got now expenses. They got now debts. They got now rent. They got now car payments. They got now family bills. And if you can go explain that to people, they can come here with a license and care about someone else and put Dolores and Betty and John and Jim and Tom and Tina in a better position because they're looking for coverage to protect their young ones or their family or their daughter or their whomever. And you could be compensated highly for it. It's our marketing fee. That's really what it is. If insurance companies could just post ads, they would gladly not pay us the commissions they pay us. But direct to consumer has never worked, which is why the insurance industry is deemed essential, and which is why we are allowed to go out there and go protect families. And it's the marketing budget. The marketing budget is our commission. The insurance companies go, I'm going to pay 100% commission, first year premiums on this policy because that's what it's worth to us as a business. And we go, we'll take it all day, and we'll put people in a better position and take all their marketing budget all day long. We did 6,000 applications with Americo last week. 6,000 families are put in a better position, and 6,000 marketing budget dollars were paid out to our agents at FFL last week. So to understand that puts you guys in a position where have faith in this, go all in this. Don't do any other. Grady, should I start doing some real estate house flipping? Hey, Grady, what do you think about Dogecoin? Hey, Grady, my buddy owns a pest control company. Should I invest in that with him? Hey, Grady, my buddy owns a pool company. Should I do that part-time? No, mother trucker, go all in here, get some leads and go protect families. Go door knock from 7 to 9, go run appointments from 9 till 8, get home, recruit from 8 till 12 and repeat. Do it for 3 years and become a multimillionaire. Just stop thinking so hard. I don't do anything else but this business. I work out a little and ride my Peloton, kiss my kids, but I do this business. And people go, you know what, you work a lot. I'm like, yeah, well, my kids are free. Guess what? My kids are free forever. I put in a lot of effort for a short period of time. I didn't know it would come to this. I didn't know I'd find this internal discipline, but I challenge many of you. You've got the faith internally. You've got desire internally to create something. And you don't need to be validated by me or Zach or Sean or anybody. Validate it for yourself. Go out there, show yourself how hard you can work, show yourself how many people you can talk to, have confidence when you're recruiting, to understand that you're sharing with other people in this country that are looking for faith, hope, and a plan. And we have it here with a freaking legend key and an X marks the spot at the end. All they gotta do is buy leads and call people and care. And the money they can make will change their families' lives forever. And the upside, if they continue to go recruit on that, will change many people's lives forever. So with that, Zach, I appreciate all the leadership, Isaiah and Steven Rosario the most, because he kept my finger on my finger. So